Okay, I will call the Tuesday, August 13th, 2019 board meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Trustee Duncan? Here. Trustee Brendan? Here. Trustee Mansell? Here. Trustee Martinson? Here. Trustee Mitchell? Here. Trustee Saylor?
Here.
President Serflu?
Here. Okay, before we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would save this for under correspondence, but it involves a former village president. And we usually take a moment of silence after the Pledge of Allegiance to honor those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Tonight's moment of silence, I would like to ask you to remember President Gary Allward. And this I received from Julie Allward and his wife. Village board members, Gary was proud to be a village board member. He lived in the village for most of his life. One of Gary's first jobs was working for the village crew, sweeping streets with a push broom. He was proud to see the American flag flying and know he helped to get started. So many memories. Sincerely, the family of Gary Allward. So keep him in mind after the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Okay, without objection, I am going to ask for the approval of the board minutes from July 9th, 2019, from July 16th, 2019 special board meeting, and to approve the minutes of the July 29th, 2019 special board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Duncan. Second by Trustee Grundon. Any discussion or corrections or anything? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now will be public comment on agenda items. To wait and see if anybody wishes to speak. Nobody wants to speak. Okay, moving on to the President's report. I have nothing outside to mention. If everybody that gets the municipality magazine, if you have read, or if you haven't, please read the article dealing with the water utilities. A lot of them, it's really a good article on how cities and villages should run them basically as a business, you know, and to keep everything up to date. There's a few cities around Wisconsin that have had problems in that regard. So if you haven't read the article, please read it. Committee reports, Airport Commission. And I really don't have anything on that. Are you getting, I email you the minutes and stuff. You guys are getting that and the stuff. I highly encourage you to go to one of their meetings. And also Jeremy will be here in October, the airport manager, for his report. Chairman Stewart, Police and Fire Commission, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last meeting we held was August 5th at 6 o'clock. During that meeting, the Commission passed a motion directing Police Chief Drew to begin part-time officer recruitment via the Commission lateral transfer policy immediately. This is in an effort to quickly fill 2 current open part-time positions. The Commission also passed a motion to continue full-time police officer recruitment efforts. We posted ads on the village website, the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, and WileyNet. This is a proactive strategy, as it is thought our current candidate group may be hired by other municipalities prior to us. So we're going to continue to recruit for full-time positions as well. The commission went into closed session for the purposes of interviewing 3 full-time police officer candidates. Those interviews went well. Open session action included placing those 3 candidates on a higher eligibility list. The next step generally is in Chief Drew's hands with regard to optional additional interviews and candidate choice for pre-employment offer pending background check, medical, psychological exams, etc. Fire Chief Arndt presented the commissioners with his recommendations for the promotion of 4 officer positions in the fire department. Chief Arndt presented background information, provided interview answers for each candidate, and gave us a thorough representation of his recommendations. Once in open session, our action included approving each of those fire chief recommendations, and they are Captain Craig Kester, promoted first assistant chief; Lieutenant Eric Saylor, promoted to captain; Lieutenant Jason Warden, promoted to captain; and firefighter Josh Mansell, promoted to lieutenant. The commission offers their congratulations to these men, and at this time I'd like to ask Chief Arndt to come forward and supervise the swearing in and presentation of badges to these officers. You can actually have all 4 come up to the center here, and the clerk will swear you at the same time.
Just going to take pictures, feel free to do that.
And the wives too, pin the badges on right after we swear them in. She's going to do them all at the same time, Patrick.
Josh, yes. Go ahead and swear your
Okay.
You'll be doing one more after you approve something.
Okay, repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Captain Mansell,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin against all enemies,
and the state of Wisconsin against all enemies,
both foreign and domestic,
both foreign and domestic.
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties as firefighter of the Village of Fort Edwards
Of the Village of Fort Edwards,
under the appointment of the department
and of the appointment of the department,
according to the laws of the village,
according to the laws of the village,
state, and county,
state and county,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
That's if you want to leave, you guys. Go ahead. Did you guys do that?
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, gentlemen, and thank you for your service to the village, and a special thank you to their spouses who put up with a lot and have a lot of time, family time sacrifice so they can do their job of protecting us. Thank you again.
Thanks very much. Just as a side note, I just want to tell a real quick story about the day of the storm. My neighborhood was hit particularly hard, and it was really, really nice to see. I know Ben and his crew did a great job everywhere and has been ever since that storm. But I got to tell you, on the early afternoon of that storm, there was a fire engine and about a dozen of these guys on my street, and on my street had 150 trees blocking the road, and there was no emergency access to anybody. And these guys are out there cutting trees and pulling big white pines off the road, and it really, the neighborhood really appreciated it, and very happy to see it. So thank you. Mr. President, the next meeting that we're scheduled is on a holiday, so our next meeting is now going to be Monday, 9/9 at 6:30 instead of Labor Day.
6:30, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
In the municipal unit.
that's correct. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Stewart. Chairman Mitchell, Streets, Infrastructure, Recreation, and Cemetery Committee, please.
Okay, Scott led right into my comments, so thank you, Scott. I do want to recognize Ben for being on the job very, very short time. He and his crew did a tremendous job, I think, cleaning up after that storm. I think we're all grateful, and the whole village is, so kudos to you to organize that and make it happen. I think we all, like I said, we all appreciate that. So going through what CERC did, Streets, Infrastructure, Recreation, and Cemetery, I don't think we dealt with all of those things, but most of them this past month. We reviewed a proposal and possible action on replacing the catch basins on Market Avenue. So we discussed the pros and cons of concrete versus plastic. And we're going with plastic. It's going to be an experiment. They're a little more expensive, but they should last 15 to 20 years. So we'll see how that turns out if we're all around then. We also talked about the 3rd Street project, kind of an update that's coming in at a higher cost than we had anticipated, but we decided that money is there, and so we're going ahead with that. Wood County will be doing that work. Splash pad update, as you all know, that was initiated officially on Saturday morning, I think at 10 or 11. I'm not sure, I missed it, unfortunately. I was out of town. And it's working, doing well as far as I can tell. The only questions I've had about it are the white pyramid that's there that doesn't seem to do a whole lot. So that's something we'll have to think about in the future probably. It's on from 10 to 8, so anybody with children, welcome to come down and experience it. We also decided to do a thank you sign and put it up on one of the posts, a thank you to the Legacy Foundation for the donation that built it. We talked about the 6th Street development, and there are issues ongoing with that, and our attorney is involved with that as well. We also got an update on the Medical Arts Building. Most of that is happening through the PIT committee, but issues with the roof, which no one was surprised about because it's an old building and it's got a flat roof. We also talked about the jetting on the North Port Road. R&R has now jetted that out and apparently got got rid of several root balls, so the water's flowing like it should be. We moved Sampson Road to a future agenda. We listened to a resident who was asking, I'm moving on to another topic now, asking for us to contribute to treating an ash tree. And we decided that we couldn't really afford to do that because then we'd probably be expected to treat all of them in the village. So he was willing to go ahead and pay for the treatment himself. Another topic that came up were weight limit signs on Port and Seneca, and you've probably all heard this topic before related to semis that are using both of those roads when it's really restricted, weight restricted, ongoing. Another update on the four-way stop signs at Port Road and Verbunker. That will be delayed probably until we have a full-time village administrator and can look into that more thoroughly. We had a citizen requesting an electrical outlet on the back of the wall of the cemetery so that we can have a microphone, or can use a microphone at the Memorial Day presentation. And we had correspondence from, I think, 3 different citizens, and that was it. Our next meeting will be next week on August the 20th. And those are all my comments for CERC.
Any questions for Sheriff Mitchell? Hearing no request to speak, we will now move in. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The chief, I see trucks driving on Port Road and Seneca all the time. Do you want me to call?
Sure. I guess at this point, I haven't had any office time yet to even see what the regulations are on those, but absolutely. I mean, if you see a violation, by all means, let us know, and I know that as much extra patrol as we can provide out there, we certainly will.
I just know how much those roads cost.
Absolutely.
Really don't want to see them torn.
And they're absolutely getting taken advantage of.
So, all right, sorry.
Thank you. We'll move on to planning, property, and information technology. Chairman Martinson.
Thank you. The Planning, Legislative, Property, Information Technology Committee met on July 23rd. We have a few motions and conversations and a couple motions that evolved from the meeting. At that meeting, I too have thanked everybody coming together and helping clean up the village after the previous weekend storm. There was discussion and possible action on installing a vending machine on the village property. It was brought to our attention that now with the splash pad, maybe there would be need for a soda machine. And we did get a contact with Coca-Cola distributor, and they're going to install a machine at Alexander Park. And then a percentage of the proceeds will go to the village, and that will be used for what we're going to call a sunshine fund. And that money will be used to pay for various things that can't come out of the budget. So at this time, I'd like to make that motion to have the Coca-Cola distributor install a soda machine at Alexander Park with the village's percentage of the proceeds going into a sunshine fund.
Do I have a second to the motion as read by the chairman?
Second.
Second by Vice President Duncan. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
The Cornerstone Construction Developers Agreement termination has been discussed, and we've been going back and forth, our attorney between our attorney and the attorney that Mr. Courtbine has, and they're trying to come to an agreement so that we can move on with the actually, I guess what we want to do is we'll be accepting that property back into our own name, if everything works out well, and Mr. Courtbine's continued building will not be taking place. I'm going to read the motion, however, there is a change in this because of the fact that Nick, our attorney, did have to talk to Ben this past week on Monday because there's been some changes already to the motion. So
Okay.
I'm not certain how you want to handle that.
So we could just withdraw the motion and wait for the changes and bring it back.
I think that's the best. Okay. All right, then I'm going to table that motion, which was item 3. We are in need of some computer replacements in the administrative office, and we've done some research, and with that research, we've come to the conclusion that we definitely can go ahead. It is in the budget. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to replace 3 computers and displays for the clerk, administrative assistant, and the Department of Public Works foreman at a cost not to exceed $3,500, including labor, and that would be from the Dirks Group.
Do I have a second to the motion as read by Chairman Martenson?
Second.
Second by Vice President Duncan. Do I have a discussion?
One comment, and then I would hope that we can start doing this in the future. This is a budgeted expenditure, so,
It is.
and that's just, I think we should, when we're taking money, if, even on motion, if it's already in the budget, we should say it's a budgeted expense, so that everybody is aware that we're not adding money to the thing, but this is how we're spending it.
I think that's what I said when I said this is a budget item already.
Okay.
But I think that's a good idea, so everybody's under the same impression that we're not trying to add something to the budget.
So,
Discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion as read by Chairman Martenson signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We do have some exterior problems taking place with the building downtown, the municipal building, and we are looking into having some quotes done so that we can proceed and on the repairs that are necessary. We do not have those quotes at this time. And also, I need to make a motion regarding the Facebook page. We've decided that the village would want to have a Facebook page. This Facebook page would be basically used for informational reasons, not for comments or complaining type things. We want it to be a positive way to communicate with the outside public. So at this time, I'll make a motion to allow the village to have a Facebook page.
Sure.
Okay, is there a second to the motion as read by Chair Martenson? Trustee Grundon? Any discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all that I have right now, and our next meeting will be August 27th at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, public safety, Chairman Grundon.
Public safety met August 6th. We had a couple discussions, one of them under the fire department. We're going to have a motion to create a position for Deputy Chief Health and Safety Officer. If we could go ahead and move with that motion, then I want to pass it off to Commissioner Stewart, so.
Without objection, it will be ordered. Okay, you've heard the motion read by Chairman Grundon. Do I have a second? Second by Trustee Mansell.
So the dynamics of this,
Any discussion? Oh,
oops, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The purpose of this is to stay in compliance or move towards compliance with SPS 330. Do you want to explain that, Patrick?
That's the new standard. It used to be Wisconsin Com 30, and SPS 330 went into effect October last year. and they've upped the standards for firefighters, full-time and volunteer. So in there, SPS 330.03, there is actually a place where it says the fire departments must have a safety officer, health and safety officer. And they keep track of stuff on the fire scene to administrative stuff as far as health related. And to move into that right direction, that's what this position's about. And I have a guy that's just right for it, so.
Any other discussion? I will make this quick, calling for a vote because you're captain now? Is that a red helmet?
Yellow.
Yellow? I call you yellow. Oh. Hearing no further requests to speak, all those in favor of the motion as read by Chairman Grundon will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And we will now turn it back over to Chairman Stewart.
Thanks. Chief Arndt, as he explained to the commission, he'd be requesting the creation of a new position in the fire department. He was going to approach the Public Safety Committee and the village board. In anticipation of that position being approved, the chief made a recommendation to the commission as to who he recommends filling it, and after hearing the background of his candidate, the commission approved that candidate, recommended for the promotion. That promotion is Captain Tim Severance, promoted to Deputy Chief Health and Safety Officer, correct, Chief?
Yep.
And at this time, I'd ask Chief Arndt to come forward and supervise the swearing in and presentation of the badge to Deputy Chief Leverance.
You get to swear in.
I, and state your name,
I, Tim Lovett,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
I will support
and defend
and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin
and the state of Wisconsin
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
my duties as firefighter of the Village of Port Edward
my duties as firefighter of the Village of Port Edward
under the appointment of the department
under the appointment of the department
according to the laws of the Village of Port Edward,
according to the laws of the Village of Port Edward,
Wood County, state of Wisconsin,
Wood County, state of Wisconsin,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I've been sure no fellas that got swearing in and go.
Seriously?
I dropped it. I'm doing really good today. It's my Monday, I'm sorry.
Congratulations, Tim. And I'd like to mention it's the most badges we've had pinned on at any one board meeting, and our EMTs were not needed, so there you go.
So some of the other things that we discussed at our committee meeting was discussion regarding meet and greet with the chief at the Fun Fest. Chief Drew was at the Ice Cream Social Friday, and he also turned out for the battle Saturday. There was a showdown at the OK Corral.
Who won, Madam Chair?
I believe Drew got schmucked.
It's pretty clear.
Our fire department's in good hands.
Professional advantage, though, you got to admit.
In your defense, he warmed up on Betsy and I blasted him.
That's right. You're welcome.
He's a
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Hey, guys, thank you. Thank you, spouses, for coming.
You're welcome.
Oh, except you have the captive audience.
Then we also have, to read this specifically, the motion to accept the contract with police chief.
Do I have a second to the motion as read by Chairman Grundon?
Second.
Second by Vice President Duncan. Discussion.
I would like to say we worked long and hard, and we really challenged each other, challenged our thoughts, came down, and we have a document that I feel real good about.
I know that this was a unique situation. I mean, anyway, it was for me. It was the first experience that we had with the Police and Fire Commission starting off the proceedings so that we could get to the end result. And I know there was a lot of time and effort put into that. And then after we had a candidate presented to us, then it went to the FHR committee, and we had numerous meetings and spent a lot of time discussing and then trying to meet, I guess, the needs of the community as well as the needs and the expectations of the new police chief. You know, we had a good conversation, and I thought that we had an agreement because we had discussed various items, salary, the vacation, the sick pay, and we had a good agreement, and it was accepted. Then it went to another committee. It went to the safety committee, and public safety then had to have a round with the finalities, I guess you might want to say, of the contract. And that is where we came up with this 5-year agreement in the contract. And I guess I thought that was understood that we weren't going to go that route. We weren't going to. It wasn't discussed earlier in the FHR committee, and as I was told, it was kind of a deciding factor. And I was a little unhappy to see that we had to bring that up after we had already negotiated. But that's what negotiations are about. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing no further requests to speak. All those in favor of the motion to accept the contract with Chief of Police Scott Drew will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Martinson and Saylor.
And I already had a discussion with Scott, expressed it's just monetary. It's not against Scott.
So I carry 5. Congratulations, Chief. Get
Sign
on
on
the
the
signs right now.
What's that?
Sign on the line.
There's 3 trustees that live on or within that much of Port Road out there, so we may be calling.
I counted 7 the other day, so I'll give you coffee if you come to
Good luck, Chief.
Thank you.
That's it for our committee. Our next meeting is September 3rd.
Okey-dokey. Finance and Human Resources, Chairman Martinson.
Well, we had a number of meetings during the month, and most of them were to review and come up with a contract with the chief of police. And however, we did have a couple motions. We had a meeting on August 8th, and that meeting we approved the payments. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of the bills.
Second.
Motion by Chairman Martinson, second by Trustee Grundon. Motion or to approve payment of the bills. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the journal entries of the previous month.
Second, the motion by Chairman Martenson, second by Trustee Mitchell to approve the journal entries of the previous month. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
We had received an invoice basically from Joe and Lucinda Terry asking us to please reimburse them for some expenses that they had due to the water problems on Port Road. We decided that in order to move forward with that, we would like to have a release prepared by the village attorney. That has not taken place yet, but he is working on that. But we did agree, therefore I will make a motion to pay $987.28 to Joe and Lucinda Terry, along with the release that's being prepared by the village attorney, and that release will have to be signed.
Is there a second to the motion? Okay, motion by Chairman Martenson, second by Trustee Grendon. Discussion?
So the motion is that $987.28 is to be paid to Joe and Lucinda Terry on execution of a valid release of all liability associated with that, correct?
That's correct.
Anything else, Mr. Vice President?
Now,
I have some questions though.
Okay.
So like on the list of costs and stuff like that, he has like a purchase of a pump. We got whatever the settlement was a couple years ago. I know there was a purchase of a pump in there, so these are kind of, they're kind of the same costs and stuff like that. Are we buying 2 pumps?
well, if we're paying for the cost of the pump, shouldn't we get the pump?
I
That
thought
was
the previous
discussed.
bill was rental of a pump.
It's $4,900 and some dollars.
The total of everything, but I thought, the item, I might be wrong, but I thought the itemized part was a rental.
I mean, the gas, the hose, and the electricity. My basement flooded, I didn't have any expenses. So, that's all I'll say about it. That's all. And it's working right now, right?
Yes,
Water's
correct.
flowing?
There's 2 or 3 other residents have commented. And he did, the pump previous was rented from Precision Grading. The last time that quote did come through.
Now, am I wrong, did Mr. Terry purchase that property and build on it himself?
Correct.
And am I wrong that Mr. Terry is an engineer and who should know what the floodplains are? Am I wrong also that this has not been the first time it's happened and yet we keep getting bills?
The way I look at it is they've incurred expenses, we've paid out payments for the village and everybody else on the steps of the administrators and the recommendations of other people to fix the problems, and it's fixed now. We already paid up front once, so.
This kind of almost seems like the guy who built the house on the island of the Mississippi River and couldn't understand why every spring it flooded.
I think there is something to be noted that the changes that have happened have solved the problem, that we did have structural issues with that, and once it's been cleared, it seems to have been remedied.
For now, it'll be back. And so will he. And I have no problem saying that in public because I tell Joe that to his face.
Any other discussion on the matter? All those in favor of the motion to pay $987.28 to Joe and Lucinda Terry, along with a release to be prepared by the village attorney. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, so we have 4 and 2 against. Mitchell and Saylor. Yeah, I didn't see it long.
Sometimes
Five and two.
swallow hard when you settle.
We had discussion regarding Ken Murray, who is going to be moving up to grade 2 in the wage order, I guess you'd say. And we would
Yes.
make that retroactive back to July 28th. And his new wage would be $21.54 per hour. The reason for this is because of the promotion of Ben Martinson going to the Public Works Forum position, and then Ken moving up. And we did also hire an individual, which was approved at the last board meeting, as a new crew member. So at this time, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second to the motion by Chairman Martenson?
Second.
Second by Trustee Mansell. Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. And the chair will make a, item number 6, it's a new point at this, since the resignation, so that will be removed.
It's parliamentary. I
And
can't tell you what Roberts it is. but-
our next meeting is scheduled for September 5th at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, as an extension of the PIT Committee, Special Projects Committee, Mr. Vice President.
I dropped the ball on this one, and I'll be public about that. I've since, I forgot about this, I emailed it to everybody earlier this evening, a copy of the letter from them. The only thing the letter says is what his hourly rate is. That's the only thing. It's $185 an hour, and I guess if people don't want to do it without reading the letter, I understand somebody can move to table. Otherwise, I just ask for approval of Attorney Formella's bill at $185 an hour to be paid out of the TIF monies to work on the DMI project. Following that, I'll give a small report as to what's going on at PM.
Second.
Okay, motion by the Vice President as explained, basically to approve agreement with Anderson and O'Brien for legal representation regarding DMI. Second by Trustee Grundon. Discussion, you want to throw that out there now?
I can do it, well, why don't we just ratify the motion, then I can just do a little presentation.
All right. Yes, discussion.
Do we have an agreement? I just happened to look it up right now. Do we actually have a formal agreement?
It is a letter of retainer, and I emailed a copy of it to everybody, so you should have it in your email, and that's all it is. You don't have to have a formal, you either have to have a signed written contract in Wisconsin with an attorney and an agency, or a letter of agreement, which says what the fees are. It's a very simple thing. I mean, it's about as vanilla as it gets.
Do you have an estimated amount of time or how much it's going to take?
It'll depend on how, and when I give you the estimate, or the idea of where we are with this,
Because I know how it is working with that company or whatever.
yeah, I know,
We don't
and
want
I
to
think,
burn through all the tip funds.
I know, and what I'm gonna suggest is I will monitor it, and I will come back and give you an idea, ballpark next month, and I would suggest we put a cap on it. And then, if we're gonna need to exceed that, then I'll have to come back to the board for it.
Could we run that, bring that up at the next PIT meeting so we have a motion to the board if we need one?
Sure.
Okay.
If there's positive movement, I have no problem agreeing to
Yeah,
that, but if it's just,
Yeah, well, I can, if you want the information, I can, otherwise,
Go ahead.
because it's kind of outside of it.
Go
But,
ahead. It is somewhat outside?
it really is not directly, I mean, it's a,
Okay, well then,
Yeah,
I'll have to
probably
make
should
a
be
determination, we'll just take care of the motion. Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion by the Vice President, second by Trustee Grundon, will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
all right, and that's, I'll make under committee chairman's comments, okay? We had a meeting back in April and, or earlier than that even, I think it was February. We decided that we were going to start citing DMI for public nuisance. And citations were issued, and they were scheduled to be up for trial yet in July. Surprise, surprise, DMI didn't do anything for quite a while, and then all of a sudden we get a frantic call from their counsel at Foley and Lardner wanting, you know, what's going on, why is this? And we agreed that we were just gonna go to trial unless we had certain parameters, and the matter was continued because there is movement. We have not been able to get them to release the escrow funds. These will now apparently be released here shortly.
Those were the funds that they were sitting over here and saying that they were gonna pay us for backwater expenses and
Yep.
put on a good show.
Second thing is that they have had preliminary discussions. Scott Harrington was approached by a company that does professional land development to come in to talk to DMI about how best to develop the property. And they have expertise in this field and have several potential buyers for parts or all of the property and development accordingly. We are going to be having a teleconference on Thursday, Attorney Formella, Scott Harrington, and I, to discuss that specific proposal and how we're going to structure it and how it will be handled. But it is the first time that we have actually gotten a response from DMI and an acknowledgement where they were willing to meet with this guy. So
Cause he's new?
Joe Moore's still running the show. Joe met with him. I don't know, because Joe turns around telling people that he's not getting paid, so I don't know how he's surviving, but I don't know. But it's at least the first movement I've seen, and quite frankly, if we've agreed that if we don't continue to get this kind of movement, we're gonna go right back to more strict enforcement, and we'll do more citations if necessary, and there is other remedies available. I have to be careful because it's unethical for a lawyer to insinuate threats of lawsuits.
You're Vice President this time, sir.
Well, all right. I didn't say anything, did I?
Other taxes and water bills paid up to date?
Apparently they were. That was what I was told.
No, the water bills are not.
The water
They were
bills
through
are
the
not.
end of last year, I believe, but this
Okay.
year's have not been paid.
I checked with the county, through the end of the year, they're okay.
Okay.
Last.
Through 18. All right, so we'll bring that up and discuss that as part of it. But
Property taxes been paid?
Is that what you said you checked? Through 2017, you mean, no, not 2018?
17
Right.
is the last year.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm wrong, not 18, 17.
yeah.
That was part of that one big check that they sent. Yes, ma'am.
Danny, have you met with him once or twice, or
With
Attorney O'Brien?
Fenella,
I'm sorry.
we have met once in the village hall, and we've had several phone conferences, strategy overall, and we've involved Scott a few times on these because as the TIF manager and former interim administrator, he was more familiar with things than anybody. Ryan was quite frankly having a very difficult time obtaining information from the most recent acting administrator. I have several emails where he was requesting information, and so I don't, but yes, so it is moving forward, and I am always the pragmatist. I never want to say that anything is positive until it is, and I actually feel like something might get done here finally.
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah, well, I'm being recorded, so
Is that it?
that's it.
Okay. Item 10, unfinished business from previous meetings. I have nothing. Anybody else? New business? Go ahead.
I think the court fine thing is unfinished business.
Okay.
Because of the fact that there's a new contract that's being, a new counteroffer that's trying to be negotiated there.
But that's gonna go back to the bid committee, right? Or you trying
It
to-
will go back, yeah, to the, waiting for the attorney. to put something together.
For Carmichael
Yes.
and Apps to get
That's
their
correct.
stuff together.
Yeah, the last one that everybody got, that was August 8th. is-
And that will go to
Yeah,
bid.
and in the meeting, and if I was not clear, I suggested we would make a proposal, and I figured it would never be accepted. If you don't ask for enough, you don't get what you want. That's the art of negotiation. So,
Okay, new business? Okay, Ben, do you have anything that you would like to bring up under village administrator part at this time, sir?
Just the tip, we're still working on that downtown with MSA to try to do that downtown project. We got a meeting tomorrow to see, we have one bid come in on that project, and we're gonna kind of check the bid out or whatever, being late in the year, nobody wanted, a lot of contractors couldn't bid that project, so we basically gonna try to get that finalized this week if we're going to move ahead with that tip project for downtown.
Anything else? I'd like to take this time also to thank you and the crew and the fire department for all you guys did on the day of that storm. I have to see you after the meeting because the lady called me before the meeting, wanted me to come look at a big pine tree on Washington Avenue. I'm sure you're well aware of, so if we could meet, I appreciate it. Chief Arndt, you have anything? Nothing? Chief Drew, now don't be afraid to talk up because the chairman of the PFC is sitting right by us.
I don't have anything prepared, obviously. Thank you for all the support I've received so far. I look forward to working with all you guys in the future. So, any concerns, don't be afraid to give me a call.
Okie dokie. Is your number still unlisted? Trustee comments? Yes, ma'am. You go with, oh, I forgot, Diane. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
on behalf of the former interim administrator, I'd like to make a motion to approve the CSM for Pavlovsky Development. I'm assuming everyone got a copy or no, otherwise I have it along. And it looks like it's just taking 3 lots and making it into 2.
Feel free to speak up, Pat.
I honestly don't know much about it, but it's 2 lots in Metro Lake. And then there was a lot in between the 2 families. So they're buying the lot in between and splitting it. That's basically all they're doing. There's a pretty significant grade change there. And when one person, when actually proceeding to build the house, I told him right away, I'm like, this does not look good. So then luckily the 2 parties got together and decided to buy the lot in between so they both had more room. But it's apparently the only process to do this is a CSM.
This is all the same for over the years we've been improving these on lot.
This is a little different because it's a lot. It's taking 3 into 2. It's a little bit different because apparently this was 2 different phases. That's only survey. There's a lot of surveying language on there that I don't know much about, but
Okay.
it's basically a CSM.
yeah.
We're like decisions.
Okay.
And there is a way of doing it other than a CSM, except you're spending a lot more money for it than a CSM because it would require somebody like me who used to do these to actually write the legal description.
Okay.
And the time it would take would probably be several $1,000s to write a
Because
legal
I'm assuming
description.
legal description is ridiculous on that.
It is, and
Yeah.
whereas they can do this, and I would assume this probably was about $300-400.
Well, it's actually surveyors, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's much easier to do this. I didn't even do it on my own property because when I bought it, actually I owned half of right field for the Nakusa School District's baseball field. I had to do a CSM to transfer it and swap out some property.
Lorelei did look this stuff over.
So
So you-
it looks fine to me.
So while you're looking, I will personally make a motion to approve the CSM for Pevosky Development. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Grundon. Discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
One more thing, I just want to.
I'm really sorry that I cut you off.
That's all right. Want to let the board members know I'll be out of the office until next Tuesday, so that's when I'll be preparing the checks. So if anyone wants me to hold it at the office and you stop in and pick it up rather than the mail can be slow, if you want us to hold your check and
Hold it.
hold it. Anyone else
I'll
wants
write
to
a
hold
note
it or
on
just
there.
mail it?
Yeah, and I apologize. Last month, you mailed the check out of the Pedford. My check was postmarked on the 29th of July.
This is another situation where some mail, the bag, instead of going to Wausau as usual, ended up going to Green Bay, and from Green Bay went down to Milwaukee. Mine was postmarked the 20th of July from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and came back. Remember a few years ago when the mail bag, we had mail from Port that was missing, that was probably 10 years ago, and they found a bag with only 5 or 6 letters in it laying in the back of the Wausau Police, or Fire Department. Post office, in a bin where all the empty sacks go. So that's how this happened, it was misrouted.
Whatever's easier for you, it don't matter. If you want to save a stamp, or you can do it.
There was a cert committee, I can leave it there for you.
Yeah.
You can mail.
Otherwise, mail.
I didn't know I got paid last night.
Any other trustee comments? Okay, committee calendars. These will be for the meetings of the Port Edwards Village Board, August 14th to September 10th. Tuesday, August 20th, 5 p.m., CIRC will be meeting in the municipal building. Tuesday, August 27th, 5 p.m., PIT will be meeting in the municipal building. Tuesday, September 3rd, 5 p.m., Public Safety, will be meeting in the municipal building. Thursday, September 5th, 5 p.m., FHR will be meeting in the municipal building. Monday, September 9th, 6:30 p.m., Police and Fire Commission will be meeting in the municipal building. And on September 10th, Tuesday, 7 p.m., the Village Board will be meeting here at Edwards Alexander Park. But we are getting close. I'm hoping the October meeting will be in our new digs. We should be up and running by that time. So. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Trustee Mitchell, second by trustee Grundon. We stand adjourned.